Y'all, it's your boy eBay Fight Predictions in the building, and I'll be breaking down Rob Font versus Cody No Love Garbrandt. This is an amazing fight. I love this fight. Great scrap. It's such a great scrap. I had to do a film study on it, man. These guys are phenomenal fighters, and really high ranked, top 5 ranked bantamweights in the world. Let's see where they're ranked. Rob Font is number 3 in the world, and Cody Garbrandt, let me put some respect on his name, is number 4. So 4 versus 3. I like the matchup. It's a good thing. Having the best fight the best. But let's look where these guys are, kind of in terms of the stats. Let's, where these guys match up, But before we say anything, really, this matchup is a great matchup. I actually really, really love it because I don't know how to, it's a great opportunity for Rob Font to get a main event spot against a really, really popular guy in Cody Garbrandt, former champion. It's basically I can't really call Rob Font a new dog in the town because he's been here for a minute, but he's a new dog in the top 5, right? And he's a new dog when it comes to, fighting for titles or contending for titles, right? So really when I look at this matchup, it's, can the new dog get the spot for the number 1 contendership, position, or can the old dog and Cody? And I know it's crazy to call him old. He is the younger guy. He is the freshman, right? Compared to Rob. But what really, when you look at it in terms of championship experience, Cody's been in more championship fights. He's been in more pay-per-view headliners. So really, I kind of look at him a little bit as an old dog in this kind of spot because he's been there before. Not in terms of record, just in terms of experience and being in the moment. Can this old dog maintain his spot and, get back to where he was? So really, there's a lot of dimensions to this fight that makes this fight phenomenal. But let's get to the stats, man. Rob Font comes in with a record of 18-4. He's fighting out of Boston, Massachusetts, aged 33. So he's in his prime, right? It's the best time to go fight for a belt or, get a title shot. Has a height of 5'8" and a reach of 71.5. Cody is 12-3. He's fighting out of Sacramento, California. He's nearby from me, not that far away. Sackus. So it's a good spot. Height of 5'8" and a reach of 65.5. So, not too many glaring things. Same height. The only thing that really kind of caught my eye is the reach disparity. This boy Rob Font got a 6-inch reach advantage over Cody. So Rob is a long guy. He used to fight at featherweight, but he went down for his boy Calvin Kattar, so Kattar can have the spot. And it's really interesting to see where they're at now. But Rob Font is the longer guy, and that's something that Cody's going to have to battle. Honestly, he's really going to have to battle that. But, yeah, man, with that reach, man, we got to look at the notable wins. I want to look at a guy like Rob right now before we talk about Cody, man, what he's accomplished in his last 5. I mean, the guy has fought real legitimate competition even before his last 5 fights. He fought Pedro Munoz, Douglas Andrade, John Lineker, right? He's fought some good guys now. He's been hit or miss, right? He lost to Lineker. He did beat Machinel, right? He did beat Douglas Andrade, who has a phenomenal, crazy record. Maybe the guy hasn't, I think his best win is probably Marlon Vera, but the guy has a lot of he has a lot of fights, man. He has a really I think he's 27-4 or something crazy. Then he has that guillotine choke loss to Pedro Munoz, which is a common opponent for both of them. But really, when Rob got on the scene and when he showed people where he's at is when he fought Thomas Almeida. And I mean, what an amazing performance against Almeida. He went out there and destroyed Almeida. I mean, oh my God. His boxing is just, again, we're going to talk a lot about boxing in their hands. But, man, it was just so clean in this fight. And he was just really able to get it done early. The thing with Almeida, he has that kind of Muay Thai, no head movement, just going forward. I wouldn't call it flat-footed, but, He's just always going forward, always trying to throw straight up combinations, going into the middle, and trying to land. And it became kind of predictable near the later of his career when people were really hyping him up, and then Cody Garbrandt got to him, finished him, and then Almeida ended up fighting Rob Font. I think he had won a fight, and then he was fighting Rob. I think, and then either he fought Jimmy Rivera. So I might have those two switched up, but besides that, man, Rob, I mean, the 1-2 he landed down the pipe, rocked him so bad, he had him rolling, right? That was insane. And then he ends it with just, I guess he got him in a clinch situation, throws the high kick, he hits him, throws a few uppercuts, and throws a few hooks, ends him, and then just destroys him with lethal ground and pound. And I mean, he took care of business, man. I mean, in a phenomenal performance. I mean, he destroyed Almeida. Like, guys that have beaten Almeida lately, like Sean O'Malley. What's the kid? Is it Jonathan Martinez? No, it's not Jonathan Martinez. I forgot the kid's name that he fought, that he lost to Almeida. Let me look it up. It is Jonathan Martinez. I got it right, actually. So, yeah, a lot of those guys, they finished him later, like Jonathan Martinez went to a decision with him. Sean knocked him out in the third round. Rob Font made quick work of him. Very, very quick work. So, it kind of shows you, wow, this kid might be like really, really special. Like, he's a level above obviously, no disrespect to Jonathan Martinez and Sean O'Malley, but he is obviously a level above those guys. So it is what it is. And then he gets a step up in competition and fights Rafael Assunção, which is also another common opponent that him and Cody Garbrandt share, but they had different results. Man, Rafael Assunção, I mean, he just fought a really smart fight. The takedowns, and the thing with Rob Font is that he has really good boxing, really, really good boxing, but all he really has is a 1-1-2, a 1 or a 1-1 3 or hook to the body, I guess you could call it, 1-1 hook to the body, a rear hook, by the way. And it's pretty much it. He doesn't have a lot of tools, but they're all what I'm saying is that he has the basics. He doesn't throw a lot of kicks. He will throw them. His wrestling is good, but what I'm saying is that he's not necessarily like this crazy extravagant like striker. But his boxing, his basics are phenomenal, and that's what makes him really, really good. But he couldn't really do anything to Assunção in the striking, where it was really a problem for Assunção. And when Assunção wanted to get the takedowns, he got the takedowns, and he was able to level change a lot and got a lot of takedowns. And he just systematically won the fight and was able to drop Rob Font with a straight right. But Assunção was, he still was in the top of his game, he wasn't coming off a loss to Marlon Moraes, so it's kind of a different, I felt like Rob Font probably fought a different Rafael Assunção, but man, Assunção was just classic performance, did everything he needed to do, he just won the fight, so it is what it is. And then these next 3 wins for a guy like Rob Font, I mean, phenomenal, have aged really, really well. He fights Sergio Pettis. Now, at the time, I think Sergio was the number 2 flyweight in the world. He had just suffered, I think, a decision loss. Super boring, by the way, to Jussier Formiga. So I don't put that on Sergio. Sergio, Sergio got so screwed in the UFC, man. He should have fought for a belt. Sadly, the kid beat Joseph Benavidez and Brandon Moreno. Those are 2 guys that just fought for the flyweight championship. He has wins over them. And currently, he's the Bellator bantamweight champion. Just beat Juan Archuleta in a phenomenal performance. He looked amazing in there. But, Rob Font shut this kid down. He was just bigger than him, stronger than him. He took him down like twice, with ease, by the way. With ease. And, it was really easy. You could just see the size difference. And it wasn't necessarily like that Rob looked a lot bigger than him. You could just see it in the wrestling and the transitions, like how easy it was for him to take him down and just push him around and bully him, basically. And then in the boxing, he lit him up. The jab was money. It was money in that fight. He lit him up with the jab. Right? He lit him up with a 1-1-2, lit him up with a 1-1-2 to the body. He lit him up, y'all. It was an amazing performance by Rob Font. I mean, just easy decision, 30-27. Send your ass back to flyweight. You ain't coming up to the big boys yet. And no disrespect to Sergio, but Rob Font kind of let him know, hey, you ain't taking my spot, buddy. And I think that's what they wanted. Like, it was weird. Like, how do you give the number 2 guy? And obviously this is just like, it's so long ago, it doesn't matter anymore. But like, how do you give the number 2 guy as a flyweight to the number 10 guy? Why don't you give him someone else? I know probably guys weren't matched up, but like, man, like that's just a lack of respect for the flyweights at that time were crazy. Then, man, Rob Font fights Ricky Simone, another kid that's been looking amazing since that loss. And even, like I said, Sergio, right now, currently is the Bellator bantamweight champion. I don't care what anyone says about Bellator. I watch Bellator, right? They got some good fighters. Sergio Pettis is a good fighter. Juan Archuleta is a good fighter. I don't care what none of y'all say. It's time to respect some of these Bellator fighters, man. I see they get a lot of disrespect. But since Ricky Simone has lost to Rob Font, I think he's on a bit of a win streak. Yeah, 3-fight win streak over some decent competition, man. Ray Borg, former title challenger for the flyweight title. Valentino Perillo, obviously that guy is more of a up and coming prospect, but then destroys Brian Kelleher, who's, he's a legitimate, and I say this with all due respect, legitimate journeyman that can crack. He's a journeyman that will send all these prospects back home, y'all. He's a really good journeyman. Brian Kelleher is no joke. You got to be really good to beat him or run right through him, and you got to be like top of the food chain to beat somebody like Brian Kelleher. Like, it really, like, look at the guys that have destroyed him, like John Lineker. Like, and we know how good Lineker is, right? So, but the performance against Ricky Simone Rob Font had was, amazing. He even took Ricky Simone down in the first round immediately. Obviously, then Ricky started having some success with the wrestling. He had some pretty good takedowns. He got him down a few times. But man, Rob Font's takedown defense looked amazing in there, and he was able to stuff some takedowns. Looked really, really good. I was just impressed. I was like, wow, the sprawl, everything. Him just getting up, clinching up, and then pushing him around and just being like, get off me, son. Like, it was amazing what he was able to do with Ricky Simone. And then obviously the boxing. The kid had so much success with Ricky Simone. It was just lighting him up. Now, Ricky was moving his head. He was doing the right things, but man, Robbie Font, he looked amazing in there. Just crisp. I like these kind of performances, y'all. I like a guy that can win decisions like this and just win fights, man. That's what matters at the end of the day. Is you just got to win your fights, because winning solves everything, and that's what Rob did, man. He just was winning. And then, after he beats Ricky Simone, fights Marlon Moraes, man, in one of his biggest fights of his career. I picked against him. And I thought Marlon was just going to beat him, was going to chop at his legs, was going to use his power. I thought he was going to use his wrestling. And he ended up, he did use his wrestling in this matchup. But I thought he wouldn't go out the way he did. So Marlon did use his wrestling like I thought he was going to do. I thought he was going to, use his wrestling, take that first round off, and then really go crazy in the next two, kind of hurt Rob Font and just win a decision. That's what I thought. Or maybe get I think I said third round TKO. I thought maybe he could catch him, right? He used his wrestling, right? He got 2 big takedowns. And then it looked like he completely gassed out. His arms were gassed, and those wrestling transitions, I don't know what it did to him, but I guess it put a lot of lactic acid in his arms, and it looked like he couldn't keep his hands up. Rob Font started lighting him up, hit him with a picture perfect jab, then stumbled him. By the way, I was in shock. I was like, yo, Marlon, maybe, I don't know, maybe did he forget his chin at his house? But can he not take a fucking shot? Or keep his hands up? He couldn't keep his hands up. He would keep his hands up, and then right when Rob would throw, he'd drop him. I don't know why, but he would. And then, yeah, he gets caught with the uppercut, just fucking disintegrated, and then lethal ground and pound, like really bad ground and pound, and just destroyed him. destroyed him with the ground and pound. I mean, I was like, whoa, that is savage. And I mean, he laid Marlon out like no talk, like not no talk, no cap right here. He laid him the fuck out. I was in shock. Like, Marlon did get hurt against Corey Sandhagen. He got finished there. He got finished against Cejudo. And yeah, do I think Cejudo kind of ruined his career? I do think so. But man, you can't tell me like you thought Rob Font was gonna do that to him like that bad. Like, come on, y'all. I didn't think that was even possible for Marlon to go out like that. Yeah, he got caught with a spinning heel kick, but that's a spinning heel kick, from Corey Sandhagen. Like, I feel like anyone gets hit with that flush, like, you're going out. He destroyed Marlon. And Marlon was like the number 3 guy in the world. He took everything from Marlon. I don't know, I shouldn't say Marlon will never be the same, but he took he took a piece of Marlon with him. Like, he really did. Marlon, he's going to have to change a lot of things in his game to recover from something like that. He's going to have to almost be a different fighter, But yeah, it was an amazing performance, and it brought him to this spot where he's fighting for the main event, not for the main event, but in the main event against Cody Garbrandt. But if we look at a guy like Cody Garbrandt in his last 5 fights, obviously it's a little bit of mixed results. It's out of his last 5, he's 2 out of 3. But the guy, destroyed. Like I said, common opponent. They got Thomas. Now he destroyed him in the first round. Made quick work of him. Then fights Mizugaki, destroyed him too. Made quick work of him. Then he gets a title shot against Dominic Cruz, which was kind of weird to me. I was like, man, they're really pushing this kid really fast. I'm not gonna lie, I thought Dominic was gonna school this kid. The way he was acting, I thought he was just over emotional. Yeah, I'm Dominic is my boy. But I mean, now I thought Dominic won the first round, and then I thought he might have lost the next 2. Actually, the second round was pretty close too, but I'll talk more about that. I mean, it was I don't know how to describe it, man. He just schooled him. But, like, it was close, though. It was weird. It was a good fight. Like, when I rewatched it, I was like, wow, this was a really good fight. But, Dominic in the first round was able to get that first takedown. And then they had a crazy scramble. And, like, Cody was just able to get right back up. You could just tell the wrestling was kind of like 50-50 between both of them. Like, they both were on the same level in terms of their wrestling. But they weren't trying to wrestle. I guess Dom was trying to wrestle more than Cody. But it was just one of those things is that they kind of use their wrestling to set up their striking. You get what I'm saying? And I mean, yeah, obviously Dominic got him. So Cody was like, I got to get you back. And Cody got that like football slam, basically double, like just a blast double, goes right through him and just spears him basically. And I mean, phenomenal wrestling from both of them. Great exchanges. Dominic obviously gets right back up. Then there was an odd thing that happened in the second where, and this is something that's gonna stick with Cody for a long time. Dominic dinged him. He dinged him really good, and I don't know what it was, like either overhand, but he had him he had him dancing like a Cinderella, right? So he dinged him real good, and that was the last piece of success Dominic had in that fight. And I mean, Cody Garbrandt went out there after that little bit of adversity he dealt with, went out there and schooled Dominic Cruz. Man, the knockdowns. It was not, I don't know if Dominic was slipping and falling. I don't know if the cage had ice on it. Hope, as a Dominic Cruz fan, I'm a hope that the octagon was slippery that day. The mats were slippery. But man, he had him on skates. Knockdown on knockdown on knockdown, y'all. It was crazy. I think I recorded about at least 4 or 5 knockdowns. It was sad to watch. I was like, yo. And he was mocking him. It was one of those, I mean, phenomenal performances. It was a great, like, even as someone that's a Dominic Cruz, I became a fan of Cody Garbrandt after watching what he did. And then his head movement Oh my God, he was just dancing in there. Dom couldn't touch the kid. He just couldn't touch him. And Dom, that he just got his ass beat that day. Like, there's nothing I can say about that. He just got his ass beat. The hooks were on point. The way he would roll and throw those hooks, man. Cody was just on point that day. He was sharp. Dominic had nothing for him. He had absolutely nothing for him. It's so funny at this moment how these guys, him, TJ Dillashaw, Dominic, all had wins over each other. It's crazy to me. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, I thought Cody Garbrandt was going to be champion for a long time. I really did. And then Cody Garbrandt fought the snake guy, the snake boy. Fought TJ Dillashaw. A lot of heat going into this matchup. It was a really, really big matchup. And the thing about Cody Garbrandt, he left that, UFC 207 fight against Dominic Cruz, the new bantamweight champion. He did something for some kid that had cancer. I don't know. I forgot what the story was, but he was just a superstar after that. He looked like a baby face. He was on top of the world, right? And then he does the tough show. Then he starts kind of looking like a dummy. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't say he looked. Everyone on that show looked. Him, TJ, everybody looked like a dummy to me. But he looked like a real dummy. And then the press conferences didn't go his way. He says some things, right? But he still sounded like a dummy, right? Cody, he needs to lay off the mic. But he does most of this stuff, in the octagon. So it's can't expect him to cut good promos, right? But at the end of the day, he fights TJ Dillashaw. The first fight was actually really close. It was closer than the second. And Cody dropped him. He dropped him in the first, got him real good at the end. I thought he was just looking good, He was looking slick. He was looking sharp. It looked like it was going to be a repeat of what of that Dominic Cruz fight. And then the thing is, it's like Cody was talking shit, and he flipped TJ off right after he knocked him down, and that's never a good sign, right? And then TJ makes all kinds of comebacks, gets the head kick, drops him with the head kick, which was like, oh my God, I was watching like, yo, no, Cody, don't go out. And then they get in the exchange, and this is something that's going to plague Cody a lot. Cody has a habit of, right when he gets in these fire exchanges, right when he's throwing hook, right? You see where my hand is? It should be right here. He'll go like that and throw that hook, right? And his hand will be here. And he gets in these exchanges where he's just going hook for hooks, just swinging and banging, right? Throwing leather. And TJ just kept his hands up, just kept his guard up, and just caught him with that, with that check hook. And he dropped him. He finished him, and he got him. He took him out of there. And I felt real bad. I felt real bad for Cody. Then the dude, like, man, fucking TJ, man, he had to get up and scream at the dude's face and like, ah, just like a fool, right? And I'm like, come on, bro. Leave the guy alone, man. You just beat him. But, what can you expect from snakes, right? I'm just joking, y'all. Don't take that personal. But yeah, it is what it is. And then the rematch. Cody gets an instant rematch. And then this one, oh man. You want to see fight IQ just throwing out Cody's next two fights. Oh, I was like, you just want to shoot yourself, and you just can't watch it. You just look at it. It's almost like I got reminded about how he threw his career down the fucking toilet. But it is what it is. This was insanity. I don't know what was going on with Cody's brain, but there is a moment in this fight. There's a 3-punch combination. No, there's a 3-punch sequence. I would say that 3-punch sequence from both guys. Cody is throwing his rear hook. TJ is responding almost like with a Philly shell right counter every time. And it's like Cody makes the same dumb mistake 3 times over and gets dropped. He gets fucking dropped, y'all. Then it's like he's on skates. It's a wrap. The fight is over, basically, right? And then TJ just unloads on him, man. Just breaks. I was like, oh my God. Drops him again, I think, too. It was bad. Cody got annihilated. He got sent home. He got sent home. He got sat down and sent home. No belt, no nothing. And I was just like, come on, Cody. What are we doing here, man? Now this motherfucker gonna be champ for a minute, but then, my boy Triple C ended all that nonsense. But it is what it is, and then Cody, he's looking for a rebound fight. Fights Pedro Munoz, a common opponent. Him and Rafa. Both guys have lost to Pedro Munoz, but I mean, oh my God. Again, fight IQ. This one was the worst one. This one, out of all the three, this one was the worst one. This one, I was like done. I was like, Cody, I turned off. Dude, I got so pissed off. I didn't even listen to Pedro Munoz fucking post fight. I just walked. Just took a long walk. I think Weili Zhang was fighting Tisha Torres. I missed that fight. I was like, I don't want to. I don't want to watch MMA right now. Like, I was just like, wow, it's over. It's a wrap for Cody. It's a wrap. And there was a lot of things that happened in this fight for him. Not the best things. He got hit in the back of his head, I think. And I think that's what caused, like, the crazy, like, almost, like, Street Fighter reaction where he wanted to, like, just swing and bang. And, and then he went and did there. And, like, Pedro obviously showed that he had a chin made for that. And Cody just wasn't durable enough for that kind of heat, basically. And, I don't know, man. It's hard. It was hard to watch, man. He got laid out, man. I was like, he got hit with the hook. They both were throwing hooks. They both were fighting like dummies, and he crumpled up. He went into the fetal. He literally went into the fetal position, and got laid out. And I just, there's nothing. This is what scares me. This kind of attitude, no matter what. Then I think he took a lot of months off. Yeah, it took a whole year to wait. Fought in 2020. Fought Rafael Santos on UFC 250. And, I mean, what did I see, right? I saw a lot of differences. I saw a more measured, a more calculating. This is like when I was talking previously about Marlon Moraes, right? Because, the kind of damage he took, I said it's gonna change him. And he's going to have to be a different fighter. And this is what I kind of meant. This is something I liked. I like what Cody did. Obviously, in the first round, there wasn't a lot of act. This was a boring fight, if I'm being honest, since all the way up to the finish. Cody was just really like tapping his knee, kind of like using takedown feints, basically. Kicking his legs, throwing a lot of calf kicks, right? He didn't really do anything. He was just, he didn't get in the firefight. And this kind of measured Cody. This is non-emotional Cody. I'll talk about this more, but you might see actually a lot of boring fights out of Cody Garbrandt. If he fights like this, it's almost like how Cyril Gane kind of fought like, Rosenstrike. That's what it looked like in the first round. And then eventually, I think Rafael Santos got sick and tired of just pity-pat shit, right? And he really, he pressured Cody. He went for the hook. Cody dipped down, and he laid him out. He laid him out. Now, I was like in shock, and it was like a buzzer beater too. Like, he laid him the fuck out, y'all. I was crazy. I was like, yo, Cody Garbrandt is fucking back. And I liked everything he did. He came with that fucking quarantine beard. I hope he comes back. This is how you know the fight's gonna. If he comes back with the quarantine beard and almost like the longer hair, I think he probably will win this. But if he doesn't, I don't know. I think it's a wrap. I think Rob Font might take this. But at the end of the day, like I was saying, that kind of measured style, he's gonna have a lot of boring fights. I really do think he's getting ready for that. And I don't think he cares. I think he cares about his health. Working with Mark Henry, he did team up with Mark Henry. I think that's what they care about is number one, their health and where they're at. So there's nothing wrong with that. At the end of the day, this is more of a basketball term, but defense wins championships, right? And this can apply to everything, boxing or MMA. Defense, it works. It's defense. So if Cody wants to fight more of a measured style, I think it's a plus side, and I think it's a good thing for him. But in terms of this matchup, and what it brings, here's what it comes down to. This is how Rob Font wins. Rob has to pepper Cody with the jab until it fucking frustrates Cody, and Cody goes for the kill, and he becomes kind of predictable with his shots, and you just basically you assassinate the guy. All right, you just pick him apart, and you just wait, and you make him become almost like what's the word? Fucking predictable, right? That's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about you make him predictable, and then just pick him apart and get him out of there. Kind of get Cody emotional. Like, yeah, Cody says he's measured. Yeah, he had a good performance against Rafael Assunção, but let's really test that. Let's see how measured he really is. Let's really test him. Let's see how badly he doesn't want to get in a firefight. Or maybe this is all it's all cap, right? Right? But I know that was terrible. But yeah, and that's one way we could see Rob Font get like maybe a second round knockout, right? Or first round knockout. Because Cody has been laid out. He has been knocked out before. Rob has been dropped. I don't think, has Rob ever been really knocked out? I don't think I've ever seen Rob knocked out. He got caught with the guillotine. He did get hurt in that fight. He lost to John Lineker. And he lost a decision to Des Green. So I don't think he's ever been knocked out before. So yeah, and let's say Cody tries to take a wrestling approach against Rob. Rob has good takedown defense. He has he got good hips, and this matchup, I feel like it's gonna be a lot of boxing, and really he's gonna see who has the better hands. And I think if Rob can kind of get into almost Cody's ego, to kind of test him like, hey, I got better hands than you, and Cody wants to play that game, then I think Rob could get an early finish. Now for Cody, how I see Cody winning this fight. I think Cody, there's a lot of ways. I think Cody should wait. He should kind of get those early rounds out. I think he should go for some takedowns, he is a good wrestler. He should explore that option. Assunção had a lot of success. Even though I think Rob has grown since that fight, he did have a lot of success on the ground with Rob. He was able to keep him down there. He was able to control him. Even Ricky Simon had some success there. Rob is he's gonna come after Cody a little bit. I think that's what's gonna have to happen. And if Cody can counteract that by maybe throwing a bunch of calf kicks at him, and maybe he could kind of stop Rob from pressuring him a lot. But for Cody, I think he needs to get out of those first 2 rounds and kind of get it out of his head, and I think that's where he'll flow, and I think he'll catch Rob. Rob, he's a good boxer. He's a really, really good boxer, but Cody has a different kind of speed. Now Rob does have that reach advantage, and that's something that's going to help him, but I think Cody's his IQ, right, and where he's at in his mental space, I think he just wants to win a title. I think he wants to win a championship. He's a young kid. All respect to Rob. I think Rob can really win this fight. I do want to stress this. Rob has, I'm scared, man. Rob is a stud. He's a stud. But I just feel like Cody is just more talented than Rob. Rob is a really, 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 really good technical boxer. He's a good technical striker. He's just a good MMA fighter. But I just think Cody is a special fighter. Cody has a lot of special things. He has a special kind of pop, right? And you can say whatever you want to say. You can say their last 2 opponents, they got knocked out, right? Marlon Rice, he got knocked out by Corey Sandhagen, right? You can say Rafael Assunção, before the Corey Sandhagen loss, got knocked. Well, he didn't get knocked out, but he got knocked down badly by Marlon Rice and then submitted, right? You can say that. But one thing is, you can't deny, Cody got popped, man. Cody hits like a truck, and he's fast. And I think if Cody's measured, if he doesn't get in any firefights, he doesn't get frustrated with the reach, and he just is able to kind of deal with that and use his kicks. I feel like Cody got a better kicking game. High kicks, body kicks. Use his his whole entire repertoire. You know what I'm saying? I think he wins this fight. I got Cody Garbrandt by 3rd round TKO. I think he kind of waits for the shots. I think he gets him out of there. I'm going Cody Garbrandt. But I really do believe Rob has a tremendous chance. I truly can see Rob winning this fight. But I just, obviously, Rob, he wants this bad. Obviously, he wants to be in that title spot. But I just think I'm just betting on Cody's talent and his just raw potential to be great versus Rob's wanting to be great instead of having the potential to be great. Nothing against him, but I think Cody gets this done. I'm going third round TKO. Hope you enjoyed the video. Go follow me on my Twitter. Go follow me on my Instagram. All my links will be down below in the description box. If you're new, like, comment, subscribe. Go click the notification button for all my notifications. Share this video. Let's get this eBay Fight Prediction Nation growing. Love y'all and goodbye. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.